Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first round of the tournament. This is the Niger Delta Games 2026. And on your screens, we have Prestige representing Akwa Ibom going against Philip Akabwe from Edo State. So far, we've had a pretty interesting game. Prestige started with Avoid, and we saw the first blank on Philip's rack, but he went for jived on that turn. And then the second blank of the game found its way to Prestige's rack, and he missed the bingo of Zanish as at that turn, but went for Vizi, and there was an additional 10 points added when the move was challenged. And sharp as ever, Philip from Edo State playing the first bingo of the day, dilution became its plan. AU. Prestige now with HAUNER blank. And let's see what he comes up with on this turn. For anyone just joining, my name is Excel Muiwa, and I'll be your commentator for the Niger Delta Games 2026, the Scrabble event at Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State. So I believe you're seeing Unheard as Prestige's bingo here. There was a four-timer missed to the I in jive, a very, very obscure word, considering the fact that you would have to end with the I. The word is WHARENUI. That would have scored 90 points, but Unheard or maybe Unhera played for 72 points. It's still pretty solid. Okay, I'm unsure what was played by Philip there. 1 second, please. Okay, I believe he went for yes on that turn, leaving OLERS. Now it's back to Prestige with ANNEARS. We can see him lining that up, but it's invalid. It's only near with one N. And right now, there are no available bingos for him on this turn. So let's see if he would choose to balance his styles or perhaps obstruct the dilution hook, because there's dilutions and they might want to start playing defensively, trying to obstruct that lane there. So he be balancing his styles, AN anywhere on this board seems pretty standard, leaving ANRES as a rule. But would he be going for a defensive option here, trying to obstruct that? And you can see that's exactly what he's going for. Most likely Nana's played beneath dilution there, and we can see Philip wasting no time with a rack of RECOILS recoils coming down pretty nicely. I'm sure he was hoping to play it to hook dilutions, but since that was obstructed, now he has to go for a slightly dangerous option since this exposes the 9-timer. But this scores 73 points, and right now the scores are Prestige 167 to Phillips 213. You can see Philip here with this pretty solid lead rather of about 50 points. But it is prestige turn, and I believe he would score nothing less than 30 on this turn. It's a really nice tile he had. Jeez. All right, apologies for the break in transmission there. Just trying to work out some technicalities here. We see your complexity in the charts. We would work on that as soon as possible. Back to the game now. Uri was played, or Ourie would have been a better option there, but still, it's back to Philip now, who lined up folded, leaving G on his rack. And this scores really well. This is about 37 points. And maybe he would be worried about the opening this creates for his opponent. The uh, triple word lane now is exposed, but still 37 points, playing as much letters as he can. trying to end the game as quickly as possible seems to be the right line of action here. Now we see Prestige with Buirees. There are two bingos for him on this turn from the newly opened floats that Philip provided. The L in folded would play UVCR and the D would play the Bruce. But we're seeing him going for Ubertis instead. This is invalid. And oh, okay, that's a T. Okay. Apologies there. I had the racks mistaken. Okay, so Ubertis there is valid for 70 points. There was the option of two barrels to the O in recalls, but Ubertis for 70 points. A really nice find from Prestige. And the scores now, Prestige's 284 to Phillips 296 is getting really close. And we're seeing Philip with MAOTGUA. The simple play of OMA next to folded there from in OF, OM, and AL scores 36 points, and it obstructs Prestige from cashing in on that spot later on. So it seems pretty standard here. We can see him arrange OMA, or maybe he's thinking of something else. There are many beautiful options on this turn. He has Angauta, which is a bit complicated. It forms ODA and EWT and HA, playing as much styles. But okay, interesting choice. Philip opting for just OM, scores less and it retains 2 A's. A bit unadvisable, but 31 points, taking his lead to a 40 lead gap thereabouts. Still pretty good there. Yeah, I can see GOBANG on Prestige Rack. Last style, I'm unable to see quite yet. Okay, we see him going for, excuse me, we see him going for the bang. I'm still unsure what the last style is. But yeah, Gobang scores 29 points. Really nice find from Prestige there. And luckily, Philip has drawn into the Q, and since he has the U and some nice combinations to it, I'm sure you'll be able to score really well on this turn. All right, same going for Cats, keeping it simple. Cats and Gods, their scores 36 points. There was a 48 point option, but it's pretty risky. Could have played Quartz, QUARTZ, should Z and Pisces. But that would expose way too much the opponent, and with eyes on sin, I think that would be too much of a risky play. So Quartz here scoring 36 points is pretty understandable. Okay, I'm still yet to see the last style Prestige has separated on his rack, but so far I can see YIFITN. Okay, I believe that is a U. So we see him line up Unify on his rack, and that would be a lovely play there from Prestige next to Group scoring 44 points. But of course, he must be worried about what it's giving back to his opponent because you there would be exposing the triple lane. But thankfully, I think the last move of Q80 must be a relief for Prestige because if the Q was still on scene, playing unified there, exposing the U next to the double letter score and through the triple lane would be a really, really scary move to make. But now that the Q has been played, it sort of minimizes the risks. Although it's still, very possible to play maybe a bingo through the Q or plonk the K there and maybe form a five-letter word that scores really, really well. But the worst case scenario has been averted since the last move of Q80. So Unify for 44 points would take Prestige to 357 to Phillips 363. You can see Prestige has been playing catch up this whole game, and this would perhaps give him a bit of hope to staging a comeback in this game because right now he needs this 44 points. We can see Prestige tracking, trying to figure out the tiles on scene and what risks there are. Meanwhile, we see Philip with a rack of Caagurr. And I believe certain moves he made earlier are sort of affected the tiles he currently has. When he played OM, he had the option of OMA, playing out one more A that he had on his rack bed. And now we can see he has duplicated A's, he has a U and duplicated R's. And even though the QA move was, pretty solid, it still did not leave the best tiles he could have. So it would be a bit difficult to score well in the next turn. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting end game as long as Prestige goes for his Unify 44 points and brings the game really, really close. For anyone just joining, this is the first round of the Scrabble event at the Niger Delta Games 2026. It's holding at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State. Here on your screens, we have Prestige from Akwa Ibom going against Philip Akabwe from Edo State. So far, we've had an amazing game and a couple of bingos. Philip, yes, was the first to start with dilution for 69, and right after we saw Prestige reply with unheard, although I'm still unsure it could be unheard or unheard. I'll get confirmation pretty soon. And soon after, Philip had recoils for 73 points, increasing his lead. I believe throughout this game, Philip has had the lead, and all Prestige has had to do was try and catch up and catch up. And he's bringing it really close now with this move of Unify, which he has committed. Okay, Philip with a couple of tiles here would not be so happy with, although if he can spot it, there is a 33 points play through the U in Unify, which is Curara, Curara. But it's a bit difficult to spot, and it has simpler options like AUGUR through that U scoring 21 points, leaving CAR. It would be interesting to see what Philip comes up with here. He has 10 minutes on the clock, more than enough time to really think about this move. There are 5 tiles left on sin. And looking at the unseen pool with AEIIKNPS it's looking a bit bingo friendly for Prestige. So we are seeing Keja instead for 22 points. It seems to be unbothered by the new opening. Keja for 22 points. And let's see, Prestige unfortunately was unable to pick the tiles he would have wished for in the bag. We are saying ITTITPM. Oof. Must be pretty disappointing. He had IT as his lead, and then he picked 2 extra T's and I, P, and M. I think that draw was really, really crucial for Prestige there, and unfortunately, he could not pick the best possible tiles. Still, Scrabble is a game of making lemonades out of the lemons thrown at you, and currently he has a 30 points option through the same U in Unify, which is PUTTI, scoring 30 points. 30 points right now would do a lot for Prestige. The scores are Prestige's 357 to Philip's 385. That is about a 30-point difference. So a move of 30 here would be really, really, really important for Prestige. But would he be able to spot PUTTI? Almost any other option here is uninspiring. The score about 18 to 20 points. PUTTI is the highest possible he can score here. And if he's worried about out bingos from Philip, looking at the unseen pool, which is a bit incorrect, what is on the screen right now, but I can confirm that there is AAEKRSUW unseen from Prestige. He seems to have found PUTTI scoring 30 points, and Philip here trying to confirm that the scores are tallying and maybe wants to consider challenging that move or letting it go. But PUTTI was a really nice find from Prestige, and if there is any chance of winning this game at all, it started from spotting this move. So it would be left to Philip now if he can still maintain his lead and win this game. I believe Philip held the move and is considering challenging, but we can see he has let it go. He knows that at this point of the game, additional 10 points for Prestige would do way too much for him. So he's letting that one go. And Philip has KAASUER. There's still a very high chance here that Philip should be able to win this game, but will he be able to figure out this end game? He has the S, he has the K, and he has a bunch of vowels to navigate this turn. So it's still pretty much in his favor. Prestige now leads with just 2 points. The first time in this game that Prestige has a lead. Philip has dominated this round pretty easily from the start, but now Prestige has finally been able to catch up. But would this mean that Prestige would win, or Philip would be able to get back into the lead and figure out this end game? Right now, there are a lot of winning possibilities for Philip. The downside here for Prestige is he has MITW, which would not finish anywhere on this board. So all Philip has to do is play out tiles that would ensure he finishes next turn. Simple as ABC. And there are a lot of routes to doing that. The best possible would be playing Quark. QUARK to the Q in cards, scoring 28 points. And with AES, he would definitely finish anywhere on this board. You can see Philip lining that up, and very, very sharp play from Philip there. Quark scoring 28 points, leaving AES is the way to go. Now, Philip is at 413 to Prestige's 387. And unfortunately, because Prestige cannot play out and he can't score crazily enough, it's very, very likely that Philip wins this game. Really nice fight from Prestige there, even with having tough tiles and Philip cruising to victory and having really nice bingo tiles and all. We can see that he fought really, really well here. The find of Euphrates was really nice from Prestige, and even the PUTTI just made was a really nice move. And particularly, I think I like the nanas he played earlier to obstruct the dilutions hook, which because at that spot for Philip would have scored a lot. So playing nanas there, trying to just close down the board a bit was, I believe, a nice thinking from Prestige there. But unfortunately, Scrabble is what it is. Philip, has had the tiles and has been able to spot his words quite well. So kudos to Philip from Edo State. And with less than a minute left on Prestige time, hoping to figure out maybe a way to steal this game on. Unfortunately, there is none. It's the AES on Philip's rag. It's just way too easy for Philip to play out next turn and win the game. So we see MEW come down for 16 points. Not much you could do there. And now all Philip has to do is just not play phony and is good to go. One of the best options here would be ANES through the N in dilutions, which would also do cages that would score 19 points. And that would be one of the best end game sequence here for Philip. But even if he doesn't spot that, just anything that doesn't score 0 would assure his win on this round. I think both players are just trying to make sure the scores are correct, because right now it's still pretty close. We have Prestige on 4-3 and Philip on 4-1-3. This is part of why Philip was really contemplating challenging that last move of PUTTI. That extra 10 would have made the end game a lot trickier. But right now, all he has to do is just calm down and play out. I think he wants to play SEA and JA, which is still pretty good. That scores how many points? 15 points. So yeah, that would still end the game and secure his win, and we can see that is exactly what is coming down. You can see someone in the chat saying he would still go for ZEA and not playing out right now. Yes, that is still another path to victory here for Philip. But yeah, what a game this has been. Final scores are Philip's 432 to Prestige's 403. What an interesting first game of the tournament we are seeing here. Really nice plays from both players. Philip from Edo State and Prestige from Akwa Ibom. And I assure you, there is a whole lot category. So make sure you sit tight and watch out for incredible plays from incredible